Sushi Jackknife. 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 Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll return to that solitaire game later. It's Christmas episode time.
Oh boy. What?
Here we are.
Wait, hold on. No, we have to talk about the solitaire game. Is it
Oh,
just standard
well, you
or
were.
try peaks? What
I
spider?
don't do any of the fancy
Free
stuff. I
cell?
do the one card, the like the one card at a time, so I have a chance of winning.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how people play the 3 card. I never win if
Well,
I do the 3 card one.
it's a challenge.
Ever.
It's easy to win with the one card.
Well, yeah, but I still don't always win. It's still challenging to me.
Yeah. Do you when you play it, do you have
Somewhat.
it when you play solitaire, do you have it where you can only go through 3 times, or do you have it infinite times you can
No.
flip through the deck?
Infinite.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you're really
infinite.
on beginner level right
Yeah,
here.
yeah. And I'm like kind of okay.
Yeah.
Well,
You're playing on rookie mode.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, my grandma used to play like analog solitaire. Like
Mhm.
she actually laid out all the cards on the kitchen table, and I know she cheated because she would always look at me and she'd be like, "I'm going to cheat," and I'd be like, "Okay." She's
Here's
like,
the
"It's
thing.
okay."
Are you really cheating at solitaire if there's no one you're playing
No,
against? Like who
not
are you
really.
cheating against? You're
Yeah,
just going, "No, I wanna look at this card right now."
yeah. You're just cheating yourself,
Yeah, it's not
but you can't. Yeah.
I don't think that counts as cheating. It's not the same thing.
No, yeah. And if she lost, she'd be like, "Oh, Saul got that one," as if
Oh,
Saul was a person. Saul in
I
solitaire.
like that. You know what?
Yeah,
That's a charming thing to say. I approve of
it
that.
was charming.
Mhm.
Yeah. Welcome everybody to the what do we call it? We call it the Spooktacular, right? Christmas Spooktacular.
Winter holiday spooktacular. We don't wanna
Winter holiday.
exclude,
Fine.
anyone celebrating, Festivus or Hanukkah
Oh yeah.
or why did I
Yeah.
put Festivus first in that list?
I feel like it has more celebrants than other holidays,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Like Festivus might be beating Kwanzaa at this point.
I don't
Just saying.
I don't know anyone who's ever celebrated Kwanzaa. And
Me neither.
it's not like I only have ever known white people in my life. Like, if I knew
Yeah.
white people who were celebrating Kwanzaa, that's a problem.
Yeah. I think I would have questions.
But everyone I've ever known of the African American persuasion, Christmas.
Yeah.
It's Christmas.
It's pretty much Christmas.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I
What do
feel
we
like
know?
Kwanzaa was one of those things we learned about in school.
Yeah.
Like they taught us in elementary school about, there's Christmas, there's Hanukkah, and there's Kwanzaa. And they
Right.
taught us details, and that was the last I ever heard of it being a thing. It's like
Yeah,
cursive.
it's almost right. Yeah. It's almost like it only existed on Sesame Street or
Mhm.
something like I don't know. I'm sure there are people who celebrate it, but you just don't see it much.
Yeah. This is worth a Google. Let's see.
Okay. How many people actually
How
celebrate?
many people celebrate Kwanzaa?
Well, I don't know how many years we've done a winter holiday spooktacular now. There's nothing spooky about it either. We just thought that'd be fun to call it that. But this is the 2023 Christmas winter holiday spooktacular,
Um,
wherein we're going to cover Jingle All the Way, a film
yes.
starring Sinbad and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And more importantly, a novel.
Yes.
Um, According to EliteDaily.com, as of 2000 and was that 18?
Yes. As if I can see your screen.
500,000 to 2 million Americans.
Well, that's not
That's not
insignificant.
no, that's not
Yeah,
a tiny amount.
that's not nothing.
So I guess really though, I I should have thought of this before. You could celebrate Christmas and Kwanzaa.
Oh,
It's not
yeah, it's
like
like they're not
it's
exclusive.
because
Yeah,
it's Kwanzaa starts on the 26th. So it's
okay.
actually technically competing with Boxing Day.
Oh.
I mean,
Let no man compete with Boxing Day.
right. And Kwanzaa definitely beats Boxing Day. All Boxing
Oh,
Day
yeah.
is a punchline from people. So
That's right.
I'm sure
Well,
we're gonna have a Canadian listening that gets very offended by my Boxing Day slander, but
yeah.
get better
I
holidays. That's it.
yeah. I'd be curious to know what Boxing Day is all about. I really have no idea
They
what
they
it has
uh
to do with.
they just watch old Muhammad Ali matches.
Oh, cool. That sounds like a fun holiday.
Yeah, that's it.
I could get down with that.
It
Yeah.
that's not correct. For anyone who thought I knew what I was talking about, that's not right.
I always thought it had to do with wrapping presents, but then it would be late because,
Yeah, I'm
like,
pretty sure Boxing Day is the day after. I could be wrong.
okay,
You know
okay.
what? How about we just go with this? I, Nathan, do not know anything about holidays with any level of certainty.
Cool.
No, it is. It's December 26th. Never mind. I take it back. I
Wow.
know
Good on you.
everything about holidays. I'm an expert. I know it all. Um,
Yes.
let's see. Boxing Day. It is a holiday celebrated after Christmas Day, occurring on the second day of Christmastide. It originates as a holiday to give gifts to poor people. Today, Boxing Day forms part of Christmas
Oh.
celebrations with people choosing to take advantage of Boxing Day sales. So,
Oh, it's
so,
like Black Friday.
so it started as a we should help the needy, and it
Yeah.
ended with, "Hey, did you hear it's 20% off at Lululemon?"
Isn't that how most holidays
Yeah.
go?
So
Yeah.
I stand by my statement. Canada, do better.
I mean, like, the day after Christmas might as well be Boxing Day because I swear to God, like 45% of my chores now are just breaking down Amazon boxes and taking them to the recycling bin.
That sounds correct.
It's a lot of work.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. It's
Yeah.
we tend to just set them outside going, "We'll break those down in a
Oh,
little bit," and then
yeah.
w forget about it, and then the rain does it for us eventually.
Yeah. This morning I was taking out a load of boxes and the New England winds sort of caught me
Uh-oh.
and I managed to hold on to everything, but I felt like I might like take off at any second. Like the box was forming wings and shit.
Yeah.
Um
I hear that, upwards of 100,000 people, uh, perish that way every year in the wilds of New England.
yes. Yeah, I've seen a few people flying around, so
Mhm, mhm,
it seems accurate. Um, well, I'm clearly celebrating Christmas with my. It turns out I didn't try this on until now,
mhm.
but this is a child-sized Santa hat, and
Yeah.
so it's a little tight on my brain.
It
But
looks it looks good. It doesn't look that
thank
snug.
you.
Um,
No,
I don't maybe because it's so tight, your head looks more muscular. Maybe that's a
that's good. I'll take
yeah,
it.
your bulging head muscles are rippling through that thing.
That'll work.
Yeah.
We
Um,
bought them sight unseen at the grocery store, and we did not check head sizes. Yes.
they at the grocery store
Yeah. Yeah. What do you want?
to not buy headgear at the grocery store. That's what I want.
We don't go anywhere anymore, and we only go to the grocery store.
I mean, I guess it's winter up there. Going to the grocery
Yeah.
store is still like you have to fight the wolverines and um the yetis. There's
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
always an avalanche or two on the way anywhere, so it's risky even going to the grocery store.
It's true. The locals are surprisingly aggressive out there.
It turns into a whole dystopian sort of winterland every
Yeah.
for 3 months every year. That's
True.
fun.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Jingle All the Way.
Jingle all the way. Yeah.
Uh, what what do we even want to talk about first here?
Well,
I mean,
we
there's
need to
so
let
much to
people.
talk about.
I want to say there's a good bit you can talk about with this movie and slash novelization. So it was my idea for us to read the novelization of the film,
Yes.
and I it was a pretty worthless idea, I have to say,
Uh,
because
I strongly disagree. Okay.
really,
Well, first off, let's tell everyone what this movie is if they haven't ever seen it.
yes,
Which it's a holiday classic
1996,
at this point. If you haven't seen it, there's going to be
yeah,
spoilers, and only have
oh
yourself to
yeah,
blame. So,
totally, totally, yeah,
um, okay, 1996 American Christmas family comedy film directed by Brian Levant. If you're curious who that is, he's
yeah.
also famous for directing The Flintstones, The
Oh
Flintstones
God, what a piece
Viva
of shit.
Rock Vegas,
Oh
and
God, what a horrible piece of shit.
Snow Dogs.
Probably his best work. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it.
Snow Dogs is it also exists. This movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad as two rival fathers, mattress salesman Howard Langston, that's Arnold
Yeah, that's
Schwarzenegger,
that's Schwarzenegger.
and
Yep.
postal worker Myron Larrabee, both desperately trying
Yeah.
to purchase a Turbo Man action figure for their respective sons on a last-minute shopping spree on Christmas Eve. The film's title is borrowed from the lyrics of the popular Christmas song Jingle Bells. Thank you, Wikipedia.
You don't fucking say. Um, it
Oh
was
man.
produced. One of the producers was the same guy that did Home Alone, I believe. Chris Columbus.
Yeah, yeah.
Have I got that right? Okay.
That is correct. So I spent way too much time on IMDb and Wikipedia while I was watching the movie. Um, this movie was bad enough that Brian Levant, the
Yeah.
director, was quote unquote put in director jail, um,
Oh no.
and not allowed to direct real movies for a little bit.
Oh. Yeah, my daughter's one word review was terrible. Though
She has no taste. What does she know? Okay. Is the movie good?
are
No.
you asking me?
No,
Okay,
no,
no, okay.
I'm
No.
leading into something here.
Yeah.
Is it a good movie? No. No,
It's not a good movie.
it's a
No.
bad movie. Is it enjoyable in how bad it is? Yeah. It's
Yes.
it's
I
enjoyably terrible.
I will say this for this movie. It moves.
That's true.
There is not a second of downtime in this
Mhm.
movie. The most downtime is at the diner, which doesn't take very long. And the only other downtime I can think of is when he's like feeding beer to the
Yeah.
reindeer.
When he's
Uh,
when he's hanging out with the reindeer, in Ted's backyard. We'll explain all of
yeah.
that in a little bit.
Oh yeah, we'll
Um
get there. Yeah.
those are the only two. It's also the only moments of emotional depth.
Yes.
Um, really, like,
Yes.
if you wanna break down the theme of this movie, the theme of the movie appears to be, um, if you are a terrible father, you should go to no lengths, like, you go as far as you can to
Yes.
get your child a toy. And that fixes
Yes.
everything. That's it.
Yes.
That's the solution.
It is a bit of a commentary on how crazy, and looking at it now, this came out in '96. How old is this movie? This is like
27?
96, 20 something years. Yeah,
Yeah.
20, almost 30 years old. It's a real comment on those times because I mean, you remember people dying
Mhm.
on like a Black Friday to try to get a Tickle Me Elmo or some shit like that.
So, okay, so it's interesting you said that. They
Yeah.
so the movie was written um to talk like inspired by the Cabbage Patch craze in the 80s. You remember
Oh,
that?
yes. Okay. Yeah,
It
very much
just
so, yes.
happened to come out the same year as Tickle Me Elmo.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
This movie did?
yeah,
Oh, that was 96? Oh,
yeah. So they
wow.
accidentally timed it out right.
Oh, that's crazy.
They had
Wow.
they had no idea, and they put the movie out, and then people were beating the crap out of each other for Tickle Me
Oh, man.
Elmos,
Yeah.
at Walmart,
Literally.
and,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, it's, it worked out.
Now you can find videos of Tickle Me Elmos without the fur,
Mhm.
and it's the most horribly disturbing thing
Yeah.
you've ever seen, this plastic child-sized skeleton.
So, when my child was super into Sesame Street,
Yeah.
I was tempted at one point to find one of those videos
Oh, yes.
on the off chance that it would make it where I never had to hear about Elmo ever again.
Just terrify him.
Yeah. Ju I mean, it's some light childhood trauma,
Sure,
for
sure,
my
sure.
own peace of mind.
I
Um,
like it. No, we all do it. We all
yeah,
do it. We have to.
it
Yeah.
I didn't do it, so no one get upset.
So I don't know. Did you read and then watch? Did you even watch the movie again? Because you've
Oh,
seen it a zillion times. Okay.
Justin, of course I watched the movie. It is the
Okay.
holiday season. I was going to watch the movie anyway because it's a Christmas
Oh,
tradition for me to watch this movie and point out the
nice.
many plot holes, the thousands of plot holes. In fact, the whole plot is a hole. It's just one hole. Um,
A drain, if
yeah.
you will.
I sat down. This all happened yesterday. I sat down and
Okay.
I read this book in an hour and a half because
Good for you.
it is what, 100 and
Oh, not many.
117 pages?
Something like
Yeah.
that.
Um, and it's a quick read because it's bad.
It is. Yeah. Well, this okay. So the novelization was written by husband and wife couple. Let me see here. This is the best reason we bought the novelization. David Cody Weiss and Bobby J.G. Weiss,
Mhm.
based on the screenplay by Randy Cornfield. That's corn like the band
Yeah.
with a K. And David and Bobby, basically, I mean, they filled in the details, but like all the you can hear the script
Mhm.
beats in your head when you're reading it, because it's just, I mean, that's what a novelization is, but it just follows the beats complete, and the movie honestly follows those same beats almost completely.
Yeah.
it,
It
it seemed
yeah,
like the only place, yeah.
it's spot on everything. The only okay, so there's one change.
Yeah.
And it makes me think that this was written for like a scholastic book fair.
Okay.
So we talked about feeding the reindeer beer.
Yes.
Um, in the book, he feeds the reindeers soda.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
the one change I noticed. Um, so I'm guessing it was for Scholastic Book Fair, and they said we can't say beer in one
Beer.
of these
Yeah.
books. It's gotta be
And the mailman's putting booze in his coffee at one point.
yeah. I don't,
Yeah.
and they didn't mention that in the book. I don't
No.
think. Um,
they they did pad out the movie a little bit for time. I mean, it's a short movie. It's what, probably an hour and a half,
maybe
something like
yeah.
that. And they definitely padded out like the Santa bust scene
Hmm.
with a bunch of like fighting Santas, because I don't think that was all in the book.
No,
But you know, they had
like
some
there was
fun.
a fight, but the fight was like 2 paragraphs long.
Right.
Um,
But we gotta read the about the authors,
yes.
because this was like worth the price, the 455 I paid for this on eBay. Um, let's see. You want to read the first one and I'll read the second one?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Stolen from gypsies as a child, David
Not PC anymore.
no, David Cody Weiss was raised in suburban comfort until his teens. Then his true heritage claimed him, and he broke loose of the middle-class straitjacket, going forth and having many jobs, no two alike. When he acquired a wife and a partner, he decided that becoming a writer was better than working for a living. His goal is to become independently wealthy, and he thanks you for buying this book.
And delivered one Christmas morning by reindeer instead of a stork, Bobby J.G. Weiss has spent most of her life avoiding reality, capital R, and to this day still keeps up a personal correspondence with Rudolph. Clinging to the belief that cartoons are real, that cats speak English, and that coffee bestows superpowers, she is fit for no other profession than that of writer. With her husband, she has penned novels, comic books, animation, trading cards, CD-ROMs,
Mm-hmm.
and dumb little comic strips for orange juice cartons. One day, she hopes to become a cartoon.
Don't you want to know?
That's the best writing.
Yeah.
Those are the best writing in the whole book.
There's one. Okay, so there is one paragraph in the book that I actually enjoyed. I
Okay.
marked this paragraph so we could
Oh,
enjoy
look at
this.
you.
And
Yeah.
I am 1000% certain they wrote this paragraph and went, "Wow, this is a good." Like they
Yeah.
just stopped work for the day because they
Yeah.
felt satisfied after that one single paragraph. Okay,
They went and made love to each other.
yeah,
After they...
exactly. So, okay, to set the scene for those who haven't seen the movie, again, watch the movie.
Watch the movie. What are you doing?
So, well, okay, before I read it, I'm gonna summarize the plot up to this point because we need the
Okay.
whole plot. Howard
Sure.
is a mattress salesman, but he's a bad father. He misses his son's karate, and his son was very upset about it. But then he promised he'd get his son a Turbo Man action figure to his
That's right.
wife, and his wife was like, "Did you get the doll yet?" And he went, "Yeah, sure," and then panicked because he hadn't. And the next day
Big
was
eyes.
Christmas Eve, so he went to every toy store in the world. Um, which this is another side note in the book. Um, the least necessary detail that they moved in from the movie into the book is that he went to the toy store. Toys, toys, toys! All
Oh,
caps.
yeah. Yeah.
Like you can just say the toy store, but they like 3 times typed out toys, toys, toys. And when they talked about parking lots and bags, it's so unnecessary.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes. Yes.
went to all these toy stores. They don't have it because it's Christmas Eve and everyone bought this toy. So he goes to the
Right.
Mall of America and they're having a raffle and there are balls that they're going to use to do a lottery system to give people the Turbo Man action figures that they have. And a ball goes bouncing everywhere. He wants the ball. So this is the
Yes.
paragraph that was actually a good paragraph to me.
Okay.
Had Howard been possessed of a scientific turn of mind, the next few minutes might have been an endless, fascinating study in physics, covering ballistics, probability patterns, the ever-changing velocity of an elastic sphere as it collided with various obstacles and rebounded in a completely unpredictable manner. But being a simple salesman, what Howard saw was a ping pong ball with an evil sense of humor. It's the one valid paragraph in the
It's good.
entire book.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
And I know that the two of them wrote that, and then they probably just sat there and looked at it for a while and went, "Can we put this in this book? Is this too
Had a
good for the
cigarette.
book?" I think,
Yeah. I wish them well. God knows if they're even still with us,
yeah.
but I wonder if they wrote other novelizations. I don't know. I'm not eager to read any more novelizations after this, to be quite honest. The reason it occurred to me, I just remembered this, Nathan. I was, did we live there in 96? I was ill as a child often. Okay.
Mhm.
And I remember being sick one time and I couldn't watch TV. I was laying in bed all day. and my mom went to Walmart and she came back with something for me to read because at the time I was reading like Animorphs a lot,
Right.
and there were no new Animorphs or something. And what she brought back was the novelization of Jingle All the Way. And so I have ostensibly I read this as a child at some point around 1996, I guess. I don't know. I don't really remember. And so that's what made me even think of
Oh man,
reading the book again.
that it really blows my mind that this is even a book. I really
Yeah. Yeah.
so David Cody Weiss, I've just looked him up on Goodreads.
Okay.
Um he has written classics such as Age of Aquariums, the 20th book in the Sabrina the Teenage Witch book series.
Oh, wow.
Good Switch, Bad Switch, the third book in the Sabrina the Teenage Witch book series. That one was with
All
Bobby.
right. Okay.
Let's see. He wrote for the Smallville series for young adults. More Sabrina the Teenage Witch. He wrote a book from the Secret World of Alex Mack.
Oh, nice. That's something I remember fondly.
The two of them wrote a book from Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh, they did some Nickelodeon work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that number one, that gives further credence to my idea that this was a Scholastic Book Fair book.
Yeah, totally.
And number
Yeah. And
two,
I would
uh, good on him. That's a lot of good
yeah,
stuff right there.
yeah. I would kill for their career as a writer, honestly. That sounds like fun.
They're just having fun. They're having fun with their books. That's the whole thing.
Can
Ooh,
we switch gears to the film? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
they wrote the California Raisins, the Ultimate Collection.
Oh, yes. Oh my listen, 1 year on this podcast, we have got to do the California Raisins Christmas special.
Yes, I remember
Mark my
this.
words,
Mm-hmm.
because that was the Christmas special I loved the most
Yes.
when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Love it's claymation. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's amazing. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's on YouTube at this point. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
It's and it's not even ironically good. I actually thought it was very good.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think I taped it at some point, so it may be on a VHS in my basement somewhere.
Ooh,
God knows.
man.
Yeah, I know. So let's talk about the film a little bit. I mean, the film opens
Mhm.
with what I think is arguably a better movie, which is the the the
The
the
Turbo Man movie?
reenactment. Yeah, a Turbo Man episode, basically. And who is Turbo Man? Well, Turbo Man is this red and gold superhero with a
Right.
rocket pack and shooters and a boomerang.
Yeah,
And he's just,
picture Iron Man meets the Flash. That's
and the
what
Rocketeer.
and the Rocketeer. That's what this essentially was. And then
Yes.
the movie is essentially Power Rangers.
Yes,
It was filmed
exactly.
in the same place as Power Rangers to make it look like Power Rangers. That's right. I
Oh,
looked it up.
is that real?
Yeah.
That's real?
Uh-huh.
Oh my god. Yeah, Power Rangers were obviously huge at this time. I was huge into Power Rangers at this age. Booster, the pink is he a saber-toothed tiger? Is he a
Yeah. I
lion?
think he's supposed to be a saber-toothed tiger.
Okay,
I
with a
think.
gold thong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very sexy. It's very hot.
Very. Yeah, he is Turbo Man's sidekick.
Mhm.
And in the book, it's that the evil villain Dementor, who has a brain inside a clear glass thing filled with water, which gets all sloshy at
Uh-huh.
times,
Uh-huh.
um, has taken the president and his family, and Turbo Man needs to rescue them
Yes.
with Booster's help.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's gonna shoot off some kind of ray or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's a supervillain. They're always creating some sort of ray to destroy the Earth. Um,
Yeah.
Supervillains aren't smart because
No.
if they were, they would think about the fact that they're on the Earth. So it doesn't work out well. if they
when they destroy
succeed.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And
Absolutely.
that's what's happening here is he's planning on
Yeah.
destroying everything and everyone, including himself.
So we are cheated of a better movie because it turns out this is how the film opens. It
Mhm.
turns out that it's just a kid watching this on TV. This is Jamie. This is Arnold's or slash Howard's
Yeah.
son.
I'm sorry, hold on. What's his name? You need to say it.
Jamie.
No, you need to
Jamie.
there we go. Jamie!
Jamie. Jamie.
Yeah. Jamie's just a huge Turbo Man fan. He's
Yeah.
I think they're called Turbo Heads. It doesn't say that in the book or movie. I just
Oh,
choose
cool.
to believe that. Um,
Yeah.
it has posters, watches the show, wants the action figure. Um,
Yes.
basically, had his first orgasm when he went to the parade, and Turbo Man was going to be featured. Like that's how excited
Yes.
he is.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
which we'll
And
get
of course,
we'll get to a parade.
yeah, we'll get there. That's the ultimate scene in the movie. Jamie's mom is there,
Mhm. Played
hot as
by
balls.
Rita Wilson,
Rita
uh,
Wilson.
Tom Hanks' wife.
Oh, really? She's Tom Hanks's wife?
I believe this is correct. Yes.
Wow. At that time or now or
Um. Oh,
still?
that's a good question. I don't know if she. Let's see. When did they get married?
I had no idea. That's interesting.
Rita
She
Wilson. Rita Wilson.
I'm gonna say this. She looks like she could be married to Tom Hanks. I
She
don't
is.
know. Yeah.
1988. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. They were married at that point. She'd even given birth to Chet Hanks, everyone's favorite forgotten Hanks child.
Chet. Oh boy, that's a choice to name your kid that.
Well,
Um,
have you ever run into anything with Chet Hanks?
no, I had no idea he existed until this
Oh,
moment.
you need to spend some time looking up Chet Hanks.
Okay.
So everyone knows what's the other one's name? Colin. His Tom Hanks' other child that acts. Chet
Okay.
Hanks is a rapper.
Oh. Oh, that okay.
That's all you need to know because you know
Okay.
exactly how well Tom Hanks' child does at rapping.
That's
Um,
amazing.
he let's see, he has been caught multiple times trying to speak in a Jamaican accent, which
Oh boy. Oh boy.
everyone goes, "That's cultural appropriation," which is true. But the bigger offense is, have you heard his Jamaican accent? It's very bad. Um, yeah.
So,
Anyway,
yeah.
not relevant
So
to the
this is
movie, but
no, it's information we all needed to know. I mean, now we all have homework. We
yeah.
gotta look up Chet Hanks.
Go look up
Um,
Chet Hanks, "White Boy Summer." That was the song that he got in trouble for. Go look that one up, and don't punish me after
oh
you do
boy.
it.
um, so Jamie's mom is there. God, what's her name in the movie or the book? I
Oh,
can't remember right now.
let's see, that's
It's
Dementor, hold on.
Howard and Jamie's mom. I hate to diminish her that way because she's good in the movie.
She's actually
She has a couple of
probably uh, the best person in the movie that's not, not Ted.
yeah.
Uh, Liz. It's Liz.
Liz, that's right.
Liz!
Liz.
Liz!
Speaking Liz! Speaking of Ted, Ted is portrayed by the late great Phil Hartman.
Mm,
Always, not to bring it down, but it always makes me sad to see Phil Hartman in things
yeah,
because he was awesome and he died in a tragic way.
and this was his
And
last film role.
no,
Yeah.
oh my god,
So he went out
oh my
with a
this
bang with the finest product he had ever been involved in.
This movie does not deserve Phil Hartman.
No.
Like, oh my god.
No, not at all.
Wow. So he plays Ted, the lecherous, recently divorced neighbor
Hmm.
who is definitely trying to move in on Arnold's piece. Is basically what's going on.
Yeah, and not subtle about it either. Like it's
Not at all. Not at all.
skipping ahead, there's a whole scene later on where Liz and Ted are in a car, and Ted is
Yes.
telling Liz all about how she deserves better and makes a move. And Liz seems a little taken aback by this happening, to which I say, "Where have you been for the rest of the movie, Liz?"
Right. Yeah. And it's so clear that like Ted is like basically boning every lady on the street.
Mhm.
When they're at the karate match, he's filming, and one woman is like, her name was Judy. She's like, "Thanks again. Here's some cookies for fixing my screen door." Innuendo much.
Mhm.
And another woman is like, "Can you come over and do this?" And blah blah blah. So Ted's got all the time in the world,
Yeah.
and he's. I think in the novelization, did they say something about him like not having to work, like he had like a lawsuit or something that made him
I don't know if it was in the
money?
novelization or the movie or both. He doesn't have to work because he sued the company he worked for having to inhale toxic fumes from the toner in the printer.
Which is the most 1996 problem.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's amazing. I noticed that Jamie's room is all decked out in Marvel stuff. He's got
Mhm.
a big Captain America on his wall, not a Turbo Man.
Mm.
Shocking. Uh, but after Howard misses the yellow belt ceremony, he's trying to console him, and this sets the plot in motion. And he's in Jamie's room, and it's just all decked out in Marvel stuff, which I thought was cool. It's ahead of its time,
Mhm. Mhm.
for now.
Yeah, that wasn't I mean, no one cared about Marvel at that point.
No,
That was
not at all.
that was that was even before the first Spider-Man movie, right? Like the
Oh
first
yeah,
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man?
oh yeah, and before the first X-Men movie too, which is like 2000, 2001, I think, which kind of set it off,
Mhm.
set it all in motion. So Arnold at one point is wearing this stood out to me because this was everywhere when I was a kid because I was growing up in the like Atlanta area. He has a 1996 Atlanta Olympics
Mhm.
sweatshirt on,
Mhm.
which I'm guessing is just a nod to the time. I don't know, and Arnold being a bodybuilder and all that,
Yeah.
an athlete. So that stood out to me. Let's see. We skip ahead to the store where we first meet Myron,
Oh,
and
Myron. Played by Sinbad.
played by
Uh,
Sinbad.
he okay. I've got casting notes here. We can talk about casting now, or we can
Okay.
talk about casting later. I'll leave it up to you.
Okay. Okay.
And
Let's talk
now,
about it now.
no, and let's summarize the movie. Then we'll talk about the
Okay.
casting
All right.
because there were a few different choices for both roles,
Oh.
all of which might have been a more interesting movie.
Oh, okay. Well, I will just say I think Sinbad is if there's a reason to watch this movie.
Mhm.
I mean, and they don't like take the reins off completely.
Oh, no. Not only do they not take the reins off, this is an IMDb fact for you.
Okay, okay.
They just handed over the reins to him. Almost every line of dialogue in that movie from Sinbad improvised.
Oh, wow. That shows. That totally because Arnold can't really improv.
No. No.
So, like, Sinbad is, like, throwing a ball, and
Mhm.
Arnold's like it hits him in the face, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Bubba da ba."
Yeah.
It's like it's not the flow is definitely not the he's not they're not gonna make another
Yeah.
movie together. Let's
Arnold
put it that way.
Arnold's not a yes and guy.
No.
He's more of a but why guy, which is
Yeah.
not correct.
Right. But I actually do think Sinbad is good in this movie as the disgruntled
Hmm.
postal worker Myron Larrabee. Is that right?
Uh,
Laramie?
I
Larrabee?
I
Something like that.
think it's Laramie. Laramie.
Laramie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, who he also they don't really get too into his situation aside from he has a kid and he doesn't want to
Yeah.
disappoint the kid. He also
It's
needs a
yeah.
Turbo Man action figure for his child. He wasn't able to buy one because he was busy being a mailman, is the reason
Right.
they give. It might also
And
be because he's an alcoholic mailman who is just
yeah.
pouring booze into his coffee in diners. And he's also bad at being a mailman because he never
Oh yeah.
delivers any mail during the whole movie.
Not to give this film more than it's due, but you know, if the movie is trying to make any sort of social commentary, it's like look at Arnold, the successful white businessman
Mm-hmm.
out searching for the same toy that he can't get, even though he can try to buy his way,
Mm.
versus Sinbad, the scraping by
Working
postal
class,
worker.
African American.
Right.
We all have the same problems.
Yeah,
We're all bad fathers.
that's
So,
right. If we have anything in common. Let's see. Oh, okay. So they meet at the toy store, and inside the toy store, Arnold gets laughed to pieces because he's looking for a Turbo Man, and everyone knows he can't get a Turbo Man. I think one of the workers in the toy store is the same guy. Did you
Chris
notice?
Parnell?
Dr. Spitchhammond
Yeah, that's Chris
from 30
Parnell.
Rock? Yes.
This is pre his stint on SNL. It's his first movie role.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. There's a couple of cool people that pop up in this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he gets choked by Arnold. Um,
Yeah.
so that's fun for him.
Which is an honor,
Yeah.
really. You know.
Honestly, if you
uh,
were in a movie where that happened, wouldn't that come up in conversation fairly often for you? Like,
oh
wouldn't
yeah.
you bring it
Oh,
up?
absolutely.
Oh yeah, no, that guy, he choked me one time. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Anytime I'm being interviewed, I'd be like, yeah, I got choked by Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was awesome. It was great. What a great moment of my career.
What do
Yeah.
you think
Oh,
about
that's
your
cool.
current movie? Well, it's pretty good. I didn't get choked by Arnold in this one. I did one time though.
Yeah. Did I tell you that story? Yeah. Let's see. So, it's a lot of like Arnold going to stores, not finding the doll. Myron always seems to be there.
Hmm.
Intercut with Ted trying to put the moves on Liz.
Yeah.
And that's basically the movie for a while.
Yeah.
Um,
We are we going to talk about the cookie scene?
I have a note about the cookie scene.
Okay.
That
Speaking of Ted.
cell phones are not widely available at this point, so you get a lot of great scenes of Arnold calling on payphones
Mhm.
in various locations. He calls his house, and Ted picks up, having sent Liz to the shower because she's just working so hard baking cookies on Christmas Eve.
Completely normal thing to do. I always send my neighbors to the shower. Like, is
Yeah.
that not?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so Ted picks up the phone. He's eating these cookies, and he sounds like he is, coming to climax while he's eating these cookies. And I don't remember what the line was. Arnold says, like, "Take your hands off my cookies" or something like that. Yeah,
Those cookies aren't for you.
yeah, exactly. I mean, Phil Hartman is so masterful. He's just like, "Oh, these are, oh my
I
god."
have to get the recipe. Oh.
Liz is in the shower. Do you want me to go get her? This guy is so lucky he doesn't get his lights punched out in this movie. I mean, like, it should have happened. Like, Arnold should have beat the living shit out of Phil Hartman in this
Oh
movie, but
yeah.
it didn't happen.
And if they had gotten in any sort of altercation, he dies immediately. Like one punch,
Oh, yeah,
he's dead.
totally.
Like Phil
He's
Hartman,
totally dead.
Phil Hartman versus Arnold Schwarzenegger, 3 seconds max.
No contest. Yeah. The movie, in the book, I think it says it's set in a major metropolitan area. They left it very general, but in the
Minneapolis.
movie, yeah, yeah, in the movie, it's clearly Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Mhm.
The Mall of America is there. You can see it written on buildings and stuff. So
Yeah.
it does have a bit of a location.
There is a character uh, who is woven throughout the storyline, a police officer
Oh yeah,
um, who works for the Twin Cities Police Department. Fun
yes.
fact, not a thing. Minneapolis and St. Paul are separate municipalities. They do not
Ah,
share a police force. So,
that makes sense.
Brian, Levin, do better next time you make a movie about Minneapolis. Just do some
Yeah.
baseline research on the cop that you're putting in the movie. Come on.
That's awesome. This all leads up to that mall scene we talked about where Arnold is chasing down a bouncy ball
Mhm.
with a number on it, trying to get a Turbo Man. When he runs into, is that James Belushi as Santa? As the
Yes.
shifty Santa?
Yes.
Okay.
The lesser Belushi, yes, is Mall
I
Santa.
mean,
This is after he accosts a toddler
oh
in a
yeah,
ball pit
that's
because the toddler has gotten the ping pong ball, and then a woman beats him with a purse and screams pervert at him.
yeah. And then a whole group of women
Yeah,
go in, beating him with a
because he's
purse
a
and
pervert.
screaming
He's
pervert. Yeah.
he's trying to get he's offering to go buy a snack for a random toddler that's in a ball pit. The women are right.
Creepy. Yeah, oh, they're right. Creepy toddler, by the way.
Yeah.
And Arnold's like, "Hello, little girl." You're like, "That's a girl? That looks like a weird little boy."
It
Creepy little boy.
no, the toddler it looked like kind of like a Cabbage Patch Doll come to life type of situation.
Yes.
Not good.
Yeah. Or
Um
like if Stewart had been shrunk down to actual toddler
yeah,
size.
that's good. I wanna. I wanna.
Stewart. When I was sick, which all I did when I was sick was read this book
Mhm.
and watch compilations of old Mad TV.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. It's pretty good.
You know what? We missed a very important thing about this book. Um,
Okay.
this is not about the content of the book, my reading of the book.
Okay.
So I told you when I was planning on reading this book.
Yes.
So I on Wednesday this week, what I had gotten a summons to be the what grand jury. It was a grand jury
Oh my
summons.
god. A grand jury? Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. I didn't even know that was a thing. Um, and I had spoken to you about jury duty. So
Right.
you had told me how long and boring the waiting process was.
Right.
So I was like, well, long and boring. I know how I can fill that time. So I brought Jingle All the Way. I walked through downtown holding the novelization of Jingle All the Way. I went through the security checkpoint in the district. Is it district? Is it county? I don't know. Courthouse.
Whatever it is. Yeah, the courthouse.
I
Yeah.
had to put my Jingle All the Way in their X-ray machine. It went through. They X-rayed Jingle All the Way. I go up, and it turns out there is no waiting period if it's a summons for a grand jury.
Oh.
You
You
just
just
go
go.
straight into the courtroom, and they just start calling people one by one, going, "You got a reason you can't be on a grand jury?" So I was there for like 10 minutes before I went up and went, "Yeah, I have a reason." And they went, "Okay," and sent me on my way. So I had carried the novelization of Jingle All the Way across town and through multiple, because I had to go through security on the way out too, multiple
Right.
security points for no reason. There's just a whole group of people in the city of Nashville who think I'm a lunatic that just reads novelizations for my own amusement.
That's great. That's the best thing that happened because of this.
um,
Are you willing to share why you can't serve on a grand jury?
I
Is
not on the podcast. We'll talk
Okay,
about it
okay,
later.
okay. Okay, you're socialist. I get it. Um,
You know what? I was tempted.
were you?
To tell him, well, I don't believe that the legal system is fair to anyone, and I don't believe that I would tell anyone that they need to go to trial. But instead, I gave him a real answer.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair
uh,
enough.
anyway,
So, anyway, so we after the Super Bowl fiasco and the pervert purse beating,
pervert.
um, pervert, that used to happen a lot more in movies. Women beating people with purses.
Yeah, where you know what? Bring that back.
Bring it back.
I want more purse beatings and more screaming of pervert in
Yeah,
modern movies.
I like it.
Let Brian
um,
Levant direct everything. He'll slip it in. He'll be good.
he's gonna direct Bottoms 2. Uh, the one you don't want to see. I didn't see Bottoms. I don't know.
You know what? I would love for people to give him a shot with that track record at
Yeah,
like a major like give him a $100 million budget and let's see what
yeah,
happens. I want a
totally.
movie like that from this guy.
Let's roll the dice. So we meet up with Shifty Santa Claus, aka James Belushi,
Mhm.
and his elf, and they have some hot, I guess you would say, Turbo Men figures.
I guess I've been trying to figure out my whole life what the actual crime was. Um,
Well, yeah.
maybe it's
So
that
our
they're knockoffs and they're getting
yeah,
busted for counterfeit sales. I don't really know.
right. So Arnold drives these two men to their factory, which is filled with Santa Clauses and elves and Mrs. Clauses, all apparently dealing in, yeah, like you say, knockoff action figures and toys.
I guess I don't know what they're doing that's criminal. It gets busted by the cops like 2 minutes later. Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Um,
right. Best part of the movie. Yeah.
but there is no real explanation as to why the cops are busting it aside from
Yeah.
the Santas shouldn't be doing that.
Right. Bad Santas. Um, and I mean, he proceeds. Arnold buys a Turbo Man wrapped
Mhm.
from them at the sum of $300. And in the book, I think they say he shakes the box and he speaks in Korean.
Yeah.
But in the movie, it was definitely Spanish.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
definitely
not Korean.
Spanish Turbo Man.
Um, I don't know if David Cody Weiss and BJ Weiss just don't know what Spanish sounds like, and they were just guessing what language it was. It's definitely
Right.
Spanish.
So then the cops bust in out of nowhere. There's no setup shot for the cops bursting in. They just battering ram through the door and
Mhm.
they're in. And it's a bust. Everyone scatters. Oh, was the fight before
The
that?
fight
There's a
was
fight
before
before
that.
that.
Yeah, he
Okay.
fights all the Santas. He fights
Right.
he fights a Santa with candy cane nunchucks.
Yes.
Fun fact:
Great.
that was originally cut out of the UK version of the movie because it depicted nunchucks.
Oh yeah. Everybody in the 90s was real scared about kids having ninja weapons,
um, anyway,
you
he
know?
fights that guy, fights a couple other Santas, chokes Vern
Little
Troyer at
person
one
Santa.
point. Um,
Was that Vern Troyer, really?
yeah, yeah,
Oh, that was Vern Troyer?
uh-huh.
Wow, there was many me. Oh man.
And then fights the biggest Santa in the world. Um,
Yes.
and then cops bust in.
Yeah. And then all hell breaks loose. And he gets out, Arnold gets out by flashing a toy, convenient, a toy policeman's badge
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and talks his way out of the situation with a knockoff James Gandolfini. And then does he run out of gas and he ends up at the diner?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
that's the next scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they
Really,
and him and Myron have a real heart to heart.
yes.
They almost bond, and then a radio station announces that they're having a contest to give away a Turbo Man action figure if you can name
Right.
all the reindeer.
Right. Right.
Did you catch the names of the reindeer people were saying?
What was one of them? One of them was like so out of left field.
One was the Jackson 5.
Oh,
It was
Jermaine.
Tito.
That's what it
They
was.
were going Jermaine, Tito.
That's a good bit of writing.
Yeah.
I got to give it up to Cornfield on that one. That's
Yeah.
a clever bit of writing. Yeah.
Apparently, and I don't know if we have any listeners in Minneapolis, but apparently no one in Minneapolis can remember 8 reindeer
Right.
that are specifically called out by name in many movies and songs.
Right. Exactly. But Arnold's got it. And he would have won had Sinbad not ripped the payphone cord out of the payphone.
Mhm.
And then they're off to the radio station, which is right down the block.
Mhm.
Wherein we have another fight between the two of them. And we come to the revelation that there actually is not a Turbo Man here.
Mhm.
It's just a gift certificate.
They have a gift
So-
certificate, so someday you can buy one when they're back in stock.
Right. The cops show up because the DJ dials 911 because Arnold Schwarzenegger is being scary. And Myron escapes the situation with a. This is where you know this guy's really crazy. Like,
he grabs a package out of his bag because he needs to tell them he has a bomb. It's a homemade explosive device, and to put their guns down, or he'll throw the homemade explosive device and they'll all blow up.
right.
And the cops just set their guns down. And then they make a break for it and find out that, well, they think it's not anything, and then it turns out it was actually a bomb that
Actually an
Myron was
explosive.
carrying around, and it blows up Wile E. Coyote style.
Yes, in the hands of the same cop that Arnold has been running into throughout the whole movie, who supposedly used to be on the bomb squad.
Yeah, it's in the book it's described as leaving him looking sooty. He looks
Sooty, yes.
sooty. Just picture anytime Wile E. Coyote almost had the Roadrunner, but then it blew up in his face. That's exactly what the cop looks like, because
Yes.
that's what happens in real life when you have a bomb.
That's right. That's right. Let's see. Okay, so great shot of Arnold with his eyes bulging when the building actually explodes.
Mhm.
And then he gets back to his car. His car has been completely stripped, and the thieves have taken the time to write Happy Xmas on his windshield.
Mhm. Mhm.
So at this point, he's pretty defeated. He calls a tow truck, goes to his house. Ted's still making the moves on Liz. And at this point, trying to put the star up on the Christmas tree,
Which is
a big
no. That is Arnold's job. No one else gets to put a star on Arnold's tree,
line you
metaphorically
don't cross.
or literally.
That's right. And Liz enforces this. You know, she knows that her husband is fucking up, but she loves him
Mhm.
and is devoted to him. And you know, you can understand why. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. But so she says, no, that's Howard's job. Absolutely. Howard is at the end of his rope at this point, and he remembers that Ted has placed his son Johnny's Turbo Man figure underneath the Christmas tree, all wrapped. And so what? He breaks into Ted's house with a credit card. You could do this back in the day. You can't really do it anymore.
Right.
But I've seen it done many times.
Yeah, breaks into Ted's house to steal the Turbo Man, accidentally somehow knocks the head off a wise man into
Yeah.
the fireplace.
Yes.
There's like a almost life-size nativity in Ted's
Yes.
living room because Ted
Yeah.
is a psycho.
Yeah.
And the head goes into the fireplace, starts a big fire.
Big fire.
Fire alarms going off everywhere. Arnold tries to make a break for it. A reindeer real life reindeer
Yes.
that Ted has tries to fight Arnold.
Yes, it's great, and the practical effects on that are awesome,
Uh-huh.
by the way, because it's they have a real reindeer earlier, and Johnny, Ted's son, has named the reindeer Ted
Mhm.
after his dad. Real imaginative. Johnny's a real bright spark.
Yeah.
And
Genius. He deserves a
genius.
turbo, man. He's a good
It's
kid.
He's a real smart cookie. There is we kind of skipped over the call with Jamie
Oh, that's
between
true. That's
Howard and
important.
Jamie. Yeah, because there's a big conflict over the phone, and Howard is just saying, "Please put your mother on. Please put your mother on." Whereas your mom, and she's what does she say? She's like over petting. It's actually a good line
I don't remember.
that's in there.
I
Petting. She's across the street petting Ted or something like
Oh, yeah.
that. And he means the reindeer, not
Yeah, yeah.
Phil Hartman, but
And
it plays well.
Howard, Arnold Schwarzenegger, snaps at Jamie because all Jamie wants
Yes,
to know is if he'll be there for the holiday wintertainment parade. That's all he
that's right.
wants, is him to come to the holiday wintertainment parade. Wintertainment. Um,
Yeah.
um, and so Jamie gets very upset and hangs up on him. Um,
Yes,
rightly so. Everyone should
rightly
really.
so.
Howard's not the protagonist in this movie. He kind of sucks most of the movie.
Yeah, he does. It's true. He makes the wrong decision over and over and
Yeah,
over again.
almost exclusively. Like he does one thing. I can't even say he does one thing. Well, he saves his kid. He does one thing right.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
um, but nothing else is done correctly in the entire movie. And
No.
even the saving the kid thing, there's a chance he just thought he was going to be in trouble if he didn't do it.
Right. Right. A lot of it's just based on he's trying to please people. It's not
Yeah.
like he's like making the right choices
Mm-mm.
necessarily.
No.
And a lot falls into his lap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A moral philosophy professor would have a heyday
Yeah.
with Howard's intentions in this movie.
Yes. Or a child psychologist.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Um,
uh
yeah. Anyway, so the best line to me that Phil Hartman has in the entire movie, when he
Oh.
sees the head of the wise man in the
Oh
fireplace,
yeah.
he runs in and just goes, Balthazar!
Yeah, it's great. It's a great line. It's great. I mean, that's how you know that Phil Hartman is such a master because he can take anything and make it. His tone and delivery
Mm-hmm.
throughout the whole movie is perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It's absolutely
He's a
perfect.
real
Yeah,
sleazeball.
but he is. Yeah, but yeah, Balthazar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and clearly Arnold gets caught. Trying to steal the Turbo Man doll from Howard. I mean, from Ted's house
Yeah.
by his wife and by Ted. He's totally failed at this point.
Low point. It's the lowest he's
Totally.
been.
Yes, this is the falling action, I guess, of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has to fight the reindeer.
Yeah.
But then him and the reindeer bond with the beer,
Mm-hmm.
as we were talking about
Or
at
soda
the
if you're
beginning.
reading the book.
That's right. And then this is the weakest part in the whole movie for me. He's sitting at the tree house that he built for Jamie, drinking beer with the reindeer, who looks the reindeer the prosthetic or whatever for the reindeer looks so fucked up
Yeah.
by this point.
Yeah.
Like
It looks like a
it's not
monster.
yeah, it's not beer on its face. It's like some kind of like caramel pudding or something is what
Mhm.
it looks like to me. And yeah, anyway, so then he gets inspired. He sees a drawing that Jamie made of the family together and says, "All right, I'm gonna go. I'm going to the Wintertainment Parade." Off he goes.
Wintertainment. Don't forget.
Wintertainment, yes. So we wind up at the Wintertainment Parade. The boys ride in the van with Ted and Liz. Liz very disappointed in her husband at this point.
Ted seeing
And
opportunity.
yes,
Yeah.
opportunity. What he perceives as opportunity.
Mhm.
Ted tries to put the moves on Liz. Liz knocks the eggnog into his face.
Yeah.
Deservedly so. We've been waiting for this moment
Mhm.
since
Mhm.
the beginning of the movie. Yeah.
This is where Liz seemed taken aback by the very obvious moves that Ted has been trying to put on her
Right.
for
Right.
an entire movie. The full movie. That's his entire role is to get a little gropey. It's what he wants to do.
Yes. Yes.
And she seems surprised by this. She's not observant.
Right. No. She had a lot going on. She
Yeah,
didn't have time for Ted's
that's true.
bullshit, basically. Yeah.
She's busy being mad at Howard. Jamie keeps needing comforted.
Right.
She's making cookies. They're the best
Yeah.
cookies in the
She's
world.
apparently. She seems to have a career of her own,
Yeah.
of some kind. It seems, I mean, it's never mentioned, but it seems that way. And Howard finally makes it to the parade.
Mm-hmm. The Wintertainment Parade.
Upon the Wintertainment Parade. It's very
You
important.
can't
we keep
leave
mentioning
Wintertainment out. You don't.
that. And this is a hell of a parade for like wherever they are.
Yeah.
Because they've got licensed characters from all over. They've got a lot. There's a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
happening.
Yeah, there's a
Wintertainment Parade.
Sonic the Hedgehog, there's a Ninja
Yep.
Turtle, all sorts of stuff happening. And
All
no one
sorts of
even
stuff.
gives a rat's ass about those characters because Turbo Man's there.
That's right. And he is the finale of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little unclear how Arnold ended up there, but Arnold, oh, he had to run away from the cop again.
So the same cop. Okay, so we haven't gone through the whole cop timeline. In the first scene, the reason he's late to the karate is he gets pulled over because he's driving in the emergency lane instead of driving where he should by a cop who then gives him a sobriety check.
Right.
The same cop, he knocks the mirror off the cop's motorcycle.
That's
and
right.
the cop says, "My little mirror." Then that same cop is the one that gets his face blown up by Myron.
That's right.
So when they get to the Wintertainment Parade, that cop is carrying a tray of coffee around. I'm assuming for his co-workers?
I'm guessing, or maybe this guy just needs 4 coffees.
Maybe, and Howard knocks it over. And so the cop proceeds to pursue. I think there's weapons drawn, if I'm remembering correctly.
There are. Yeah, there
It's
absolutely are.
It's a great show of appropriate police force.
Yes.
And this chases Howard into just a building along the parade route.
Yeah.
Which happens to be
Right.
where they're waiting for the actor who is playing Turbo Man, who is not there, and they never explain where that actor was. So who knows?
Right.
But they
Right.
assume that the large hulking man with the Austrian accent is there to be Turbo Man. So they
Right.
say, "Are you the guy?" And Howard goes, "Yeah." And then they put a
Yeah.
costume on him.
Yeah. And, you know, this is like the reason you cast a guy like Arnold Schwarzenegger in this movie, because it can't be Billy Crystal, right? Like, most of the movie works with a Billy Crystal
Okay.
until you get to this point.
Do you want to know who all was up
Yes.
for his role?
Yes, I do. Yes. Sylvester Stallone.
No. Oh, no, you're going the
No. Okay.
complete wrong direction. Okay.
Oh.
So 3 people originally were, well, that I remember, there were more, were considered for his role.
Okay.
Chevy Chase,
Okay.
Bill Murray, and Steve Martin.
Wow. All of them too good for this movie.
Okay. But the role of Myron, they
Yes.
originally were trying to get to be Joe Pesci.
Oh.
But they decided
okay.
Joe Pesci was too short next to Arnold Schwarzenegger. And so they gave it to Sinbad. How different is this movie if you have Bill Murray fighting Joe Pesci for an action figure the whole movie?
It does not work. I mean, Bill Murray makes great career choices, right? Like,
Yeah.
He must. Chevy Chase is the only one out of the group I could see doing this movie. Not that he works as a superhero,
He
because Arnold Schwarzenegger is a superhero
his
at
career
one
was
point.
dead at this point.
Okay, yeah,
Mid 90s, Chevy
yeah.
Chase probably would have taken it had they offered it to him.
But he's got the he's got the. I mean, he's Griswold. He's
he
he's
he
Mr.
actually would have
Griswold. He
been a
can
good
fail.
Ted. He could have
Yeah,
played Ted. Um,
he definitely could have played Ted. Yeah, that's true.
Steve
Yeah.
Martin would have been the worst choice. Can you?
Yes.
I
No.
mean, they would have had to rewrite the entire movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's right.
it wouldn't have worked at all.
No, that wouldn't have worked. Steve Martin is like way too smart for this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Joe Pesci, I could see actually working.
Mhm.
I think I think Sinbad is good casting. And now that you point out, like, they need to be able to be like tete-a-tete with each other. They
Right.
need to be able to battle each other. So you need Sinbad's a big guy. He
Right.
may not be a bodybuilder like Schwarzenegger, but like he can go head to head with Schwarzenegger, and it's not like
Yeah.
a weird,
Although it would have been
size
really
difference.
funny to have scenes where Joe Pesci is
Oh
trying
yeah,
to fight things out of Arnold Schwarzenegger's hands, and Arnold
just holding
Schwarzenegger
him
just
like
like lifts the thing up a
yeah,
foot, and that's the end of it.
totally. So Arnold is now in full Turbo Man costume. Oh, and we get a quick glimpse of
With working
Booster
jetpack. This is important.
with working, yes, with working flying discs, boomerang, and jetpack. We get a quick glimpse of a smoking actor in a Booster costume.
Yes.
To remind you, the pink saber-toothed tiger with the gold thong, who is Booker. That's Booker
Mhm.
from Revenge of the Nerds, right? Like that's totally that guy.
Fun casting note. That was
Fun
originally
casting.
supposed to be Gilbert Gottfried, and
Oh,
Gilbert Gottfried said no. And
well,
that is why
yeah.
he sounds like Gilbert Gottfried, because the director said, "Hey, do a Gilbert Gottfried impression."
That makes so, because when you hear the voice, you're like, "That's Gilbert Godfrey," and you
Yeah.
see him, you're like, "That's not Gilbert Godfrey. Is that a Beastie Boy? No, it's Booger."
Yeah.
But that's good. Yeah, that was fun. Seeing him and seeing Chris Parnell were my two favorite
Mhm.
things in the whole goddamn movie. So he's like, "Where have you been? What are you doing? You're throwing us off." They get on the float. They go out. All this choreography is supposed to be happening. Of course, Arnold doesn't know it at all,
Right.
but proceeds to smile and wave, proceeds to pick a child
Mhm.
from the audience, and the audio engineer at the perfect time pushes up the fader on
Right.
Arnold's mic so he can go, "Dammy." And
Okay. So, uh, he calls Jamie's name out. I don't know if this
yes.
occurred to you. And Jamie is like, "Oh, wow, he chose me. How does Turbo Man know my name?"
Yeah.
As if there's a large number of gigantic men with Austrian accents in Minneapolis.
Yes.
Like, it's quite clearly your father. He's the only one there. He's it. I don't know if you caught this in the book. They tried to explain that away. In the book,
No, I don't think I did. I don't
they
think I caught it.
added something about a microphone when they're explaining all the features of the suit to him. One of the
Oh,
features they
okay.
explain is, and there's a microphone that's going to make your voice sound exactly like Turbo Man's voice,
Oh, yes. Yes, 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 yes.
which is
They
not.
mentioned that in the movie too.
Did they? But it doesn't. It makes him sound
It
like
does, no,
Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's not even a different
amplified.
pitch.
Yeah.
And for
Right.
those who haven't seen it, Turbo Man at the beginning of the movie, he sounds like this, which is
Yes,
not
very.
what Arnold Schwarzenegger sounds like.
No. Oh, it's great though. So Arnold pick, this immaculate special edition Turbo Man doll, which looks to be about a foot and a half tall,
Mhm.
rises out of the float that they're on. He gives it to Jamie, and then we get a quick shot of a guy as Dementor, the villain, smoking a cigarette, who, off camera gets knocked out. And of course, who is there but Myron? Myron is now
Oh,
Dementor.
Myron.
and with his watery, sloshy brain, frothy with bubbles inside at one point. And Myron is going to take that doll away from Turbo Man,
Mm-hmm.
Arnold, Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
Peril ensues. I mean, somehow he manages to like zip line down onto the float and they have a fight. It makes no sense.
None of it makes sense.
Somehow Jamie runs away and ends up on a set piece of a giant two-dimensional Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
He and Myron swing down. Arnold Schwarzenegger has to figure out how to use a jetpack.
And using the jetpack, he somehow flies through an apartment building, and
Oh yeah,
also cartoonishly slams his head into a brick wall, which makes him go boing 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 and
Yeah.
fall.
That's definitely in the trailer. I think
Yeah.
I seem to remember that as a kid. Yeah, from the trailer. So, Turbo Man eventually saves the day using his boomerang and his discs and his jetpack, saves Jamie from falling,
Mm-hmm. And then
lands on
surprise,
the ground.
it's
Yeah,
his dad.
that's right. And Liz has the best line right here where she's like, Howard?
Mhm.
And then she goes, Howard?
Yeah.
She's like, wow,
Mhm.
that's
Well,
my husband right there.
yeah, she's all horned up because she's been
Yeah.
like Ted's been flirting with her all day.
I know,
So
I know.
so her engine's running, and then
It's
it turns out
revved.
her husband is into cosplay here, and oh boy, oh,
Ooh.
hubba hubba, hi, iuga.
So all is well. Oh, and Jamie, in an act of kindness,
Mm-hmm.
gives Myron, who we all know is really not a bad guy, maybe a bit of a psychopath,
And goes to
but not a
prison probably.
yeah. But Jamie gives him the Turbo Man because
Mhm.
you know what? Turbo Man is his dad, as
Mhm.
it turns out. So
Which
there you
isn't true.
go. No, it's not true.
His dad sells mattresses. It's a
It's
little
just a
different.
childish fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sinbad, one of those improvised lines. I don't know at what point when they're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this before we started, but at one point they're fighting, and he goes, "I got sickle cell. Don't hit me." And I just thought that was like maybe the funniest line in the movie.
It's very
because
good. It's a good line.
it's a touch of reality in this
Um
film.
okay, and then we do have to also talk about the other line, which you did
Yes.
not notice.
Oh, I didn't pick up on this at all.
Okay.
No.
So at the beginning of the whole fight, when Myron shows up, Booster,
Right.
which keep in mind throughout the movie, everyone's been very clear. They hate Booster.
Everyone
Everyone
hates
hates
Booster.
Booster. No one
Yep.
likes Booster. Um,
Nope.
Booster walks up and goes, "Hey man, you're throwing off the whole thing." And he says, "Shut up! No one likes you, Booster," and punches him and knocks Booster into the ground. And here is where there's either a problematic line, more than a problematic line, like it's a notch above problematic.
It's like not okay.
Yeah. Or a completely fine line, and it depends on what you hear. So
Right.
Booster falls to the ground, and this is funny. This is a funny scene. Children come and start kicking Booster because they hate
Yeah,
Booster.
it was great. That was awesome.
And one of them says, "We hate you." And then there's another word, which is a slur for homosexuals. Or he says, "We hate you, bear," saying bear. Okay. Do you remember what? It was like 5 years ago. The whole, is this dress black and white or blue and yellow
yeah.
or whatever the colors
Yeah.
were?
It has something to do with your brain or
Uh-huh.
something, what you see. Yeah.
This is one of those situations because
Okay.
I heard this. So when the copies I've seen before were not on Disney Plus. This was edited out.
Right.
And I have a theory
Okay.
why. We'll get there in a second. It's in the Disney Plus version, whatever this kid says.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
So initially I heard it and went, did he say what I think he said? I haven't heard anyone casually call someone that since junior high.
Right. Right.
Because in junior high, that happened a lot. Um,
Oh yeah. All the
uh,
time,
yeah.
constantly. Yeah.
And so they, I rewound it. I rewound it enough times on Disney Plus that it like froze up my Xbox for a minute, trying to figure out if that's what he actually said. And it really sounded like he said this word.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
But then I looked it up and someone said, no, I didn't hear that. I heard him say, "We hate you, bear." And
Bear.
if you listen to it, thinking either of the words are about to come out, you can hear it.
And those are very different words.
They are. Yeah, I mean, it's a Minnesotan accent. So
Okay.
bear is going to sound weird. Remember, this is a place where they put things in
Bear.
bags. We put it in a bag.
Oh, that's right. Bag.
So it's bear, which it all, none of it sounds right. Like
Right.
it's off either way slightly.
Oh man, that's funny though. I didn't catch it at
Yeah.
all. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
So I don't know which one is said still. There have
Right.
been people offended by this movie because of that.
Sure.
Which, if it is the one thing, yeah, they should be offended. If it's the other thing, I see why they edited it out, because
Right.
my guess is they left it in there going, the kid says, "We hate you, bear."
Right.
And then
Because maybe they didn't even hear it.
yeah, then when they did the home video release, someone was going, that doesn't sound like bear. And so they took it out. And then Disney Plus went, no, it is bear. And they put it back in. And
also some
and no one knows for sure either way. It really sounded not like bear until I read the word bear.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I think that's fair. I mean,
But it's
leave
not
it where
it's
it
not
is.
even really in the background. Like they've turned it up. Which,
Right.
and knowing that this was a movie for families and was rated PG, I'm
Right.
assuming that it was not the slur.
I wouldn't think so. Even in 96, like
It never was. It wasn't okay at that point. So
no. And it's a word that like you don't say the whole version much.
no.
Even then, like you would say the short version of that word, semi often. But like the full version was like, ooh,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah. It's I don't know.
yeah,
Someone
it's something.
needs to go like isolate those vocals and find a way to like analyze it more thoroughly to figure out exactly what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, someone should really dive deep into that. but-
Anyway,
Yeah. It's something. I wanted to mention that the Turbo Man and associated character suits were done by Kurtzman and Nicotero and is it Berger? KGB, the same people that did like Walking Dead
there you
later
go.
on, which is kind of wild to
Yeah.
me. Among other things,
And this was definitely better than whatever was on Walking Dead because have
Yeah.
you seen the movie?
Right. Watching this, there's a tag at the end of after the credits, by the way, too, and it's in the book too, where it's like, oh, no one ever thought about Liz in this whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like Howard didn't get Liz anything either. She's warm. She's very warm to him at this point. She's like, you went through all that to get Jamie something. It shows how much you love him. Shows how much you care. Which just makes me think, what did you give me? And then we get zoom in on Arnold's face. Yeah. So
That was to set up a sequel, by the way.
Oh, thank God that never happened.
No, there
That
is a
was-
sequel. It's not. Have you seen the sequel on Disney Plus? I haven't
There's a
watched the movie.
sequel?
Yeah.
I didn't know it existed.
Replace Arnold Schwarzenegger with Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh, Christ. Oh. That's Jingle
That's
All
a
the Way
thing that
too?
exists. Yes.
Oh my god. Well, I know what I'm doing for the rest of the night now. I'm gonna watch Jingle All the Way too. That's next year's Christmas, but no,
No,
no, no,
please
no,
don't do that.
no, no. And the novelization, Nathan, which probably doesn't exist, but oh
Oh,
my god,
oh.
wow,
Anyway, overall,
yeah.
uh,
Overall,
out of 10, what would you rate the movie?
yeah, it's like a 4 probably. It's
Now, okay, that's quality wise.
yeah.
Entertainment value wise, what would
Oh,
you
it's
rate
like
the
an
movie?
8.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's appropriate.
yeah. It's definitely like if you know what you're getting into, it's definitely fun to watch.
Mhm.
It's like turn your brain off stuff. It's like you don't really plot holes all over. We don't care. Just watch it. It's like it is. Which is what I said at the beginning. It is truly nonstop. It is point to point to point to point to point the whole time.
Mhm.
Very little slowdown in this movie
Yeah.
at all.
It's
And
a quick
yeah,
watch. It's
yeah,
fun. The book is just slightly better than 50 Shades.
right. And you do not need to read it. We I feel like we supported a weird eBay seller,
Yeah.
and that's like our good deed this
I
Christmas.
so there's one eBay because it was definitely the same guy. There's no
Oh,
way
we
there's
bought it from the
two
same guy.
separate people
No.
pricing Jingle All the Way at the same price. There's
Right.
one eBay seller going, "Well, hot damn. Jingle All the Way is huge this year. I
Yeah.
I better get more of them because I've sold 2 in the last 3 days. This is crazy."
Oh my
Yeah.
god, we really screwed these people.
Yeah, he's gonna have, like, a full box of Jingle All the Way novels stored somewhere that no one's ever going to buy.
That's right. -2.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anything else? I mean, that is it. That is it,
Um,
pretty much.
I do wanna say that Sinbad got robbed for a Best Supporting Actor nomination for this movie.
Agreed, honestly,
Um,
yeah.
and, yeah, I mean, it's basically, as far as family holiday movies, the Citizen Kane of family holiday movies.
And not a critique on consumerism.
No,
Like,
no.
this is a fully consumeristic movie.
Yeah,
It's like, yes. Yeah.
it's not only not a critique, it's a, "Boy, if you didn't buy your kid a present, you're a real turd of a person. So,
Yeah.
better go buy him
That's
things."
right. Yeah. More things. Buy them more things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's the only
Totally
way
in
to get them
spirit.
to love you.
That's right. Obviously, you can't be there for them, so buy them shit.
Huh.
Totally in spirit with 1996. Like that's
That's true.
that is the world we grew up in
That is
for
very
sure.
true.
um yeah, I don't really that's all I got. I mean, it's worth a watch. It's not worth a read.
No. I
we
I mean, I would recommend if you wanna read it, it's very quick. Also, I have a copy I can send you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Actually, you know
honestly, if you
what I'm gonna do with my copy? My sister is obsessed with this movie.
really
Yeah, because it's the finest movie. Have we not talked about that? It's the best movie. Um, so, w I will be slipping this into her stocking,
Oh yeah,
knowing
dude.
all too well that she will read this book and, hate every second of reading this book.
That's awesome. I love it. That's the best present you could possibly give her.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's great.
Well, we're gonna see each other in a few days. I'm coming down from the mountains,
Mhm.
the mountaintops, and I don't know if we'll have time to do an episode or not, but maybe we will. Maybe we'll have time
Oh,
to sneak one in and in
yeah.
person. We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. It's gonna be a lot of drinking and eating summer sausages and shit. That's stuff you do this time of year.
Yeah, and 'tis the season
Tis the season.
for summer sausage.
Yes, and that weird mustard it comes with. Right.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's it.
Um Well, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Festivus,
Mm-hmm.
everybody.
Sushi Jackknife.
Nothing more to say. Sushi Jackknife.
Bye.
You hear those jingle bells, Nathan?
I
You
don't.
hear them?
I don't hear. No,
There they come.
I
I hear
don't.
them. They're in the distance. There they are.
I don't hear any
Uh,
jingle. I think you're messing with me right now. There are no jingle bells.
Oh, it's the hat. It's the hat.
Oh, okay.